watching Kelly's Wordy Reactions. So today I am coming back in from the car, reporting live from the car. So, y'all, I'm trying to stop saying, you know, it is going to be a little bit difficult because I say it so much. So I recorded a video yesterday. No, actually it wasn't a video. It was a voice recording. And when I listen back to that thing, I'm like, oh my goodness. Turn my blinker off. I was like, oh my goodness, this sounds bad. It's just too much, you know. So I have really got to put that out of my vocabulary, and I just have to get it done. So I didn't even put that content out because to me it just sounded bad. All right, so now moving on from that, I will be maybe pausing a little bit more than even usual. Now let's talk about the tomfoolery. Okay, so I made a thumbnail, and you probably have already seen it if you clicked on this video, and the thumbnail is called Triple OB Nesto. Triple OB Nesto, not Triple OG Nesto, Triple OB Nesto, Triple O Bigamist Nesto. Really, Ernest? Really? Like, you really out here just marrying people, just getting down on one knee, kissing hands, presenting rings, you know, posing for pictures. Okay, I said it. That was one. I caught myself. You out here posing for pictures. You out here getting marriage licenses and then filing the marriage licenses with the court, knowing that you married over and over and over again. Y'all. So like I said in the other video, he has not proven me wrong. The more information that comes out, the more, from my perspective, how I see things, he's just a con artist. He is a con artist, and he's been doing this for a really long time. A really, really long time. So this is who he is. This is these behaviors are behaviors that he has perfected over time. He conned Shirley over and over and over again, and he's conned a lot of people over and over and over again, which is why he's on charges of taking people's money and not producing the product that he said he was going to give them, amongst all the other charges. I think those were the initial charges, and once they got him, they started realizing, like, wow, this man is diabolical. So I don't know. Also, by the time you see this thumbnail, I think I might put in there surviving Ernesto, because he's got a pretty diabolical situation going on here with all of this lying, fraud, scamming. Then he's got the what is it called? He's got the sex charges. Like, he's got a lot going on. So I think this is going to turn into somewhat of a surviving Ernesto, Triple OB Nesto, surviving Ernest, triple OB Nesto. Triple O bigamous Nesto. So, anyway, so we now know that Ernest is married to another lady. He's currently married to the other lady. Her marriage has been 38 years long, and there is no divorce of record. So Shirley and the other 2 women, so now it's been 4 women, excuse me, but the other 3 women have married on the top of his marriage to this other woman. So I think Shirley is the only person that hasn't fully gotten a divorce yet. And now we know that she doesn't even need a divorce. She can just go ahead and get her lawyer to prove up that he's already been married to someone else, and probably go ahead and just dissolve or annul or whatever that would be. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what the proper terminology would be, but from listening to shout out to Chronicle Speaks platform for really, you know, getting in there and finding out these marriage details for us. Shout out to Pam Esquire. I think Pam said that you can file for an annulment once you have your lawyer take your documentation and show that this person has already been married to someone else. Then you can have your marriage annulled, and everything can be dissolved, and you can go on as if you never were married to that person. So that sounds like a benefit to Shirley. You know, I don't know what all they had together. It sounds like they had a lot of things going, but nothing stuck. Sounds like they were throwing a lot of things against the wall, or at least he was, and just none of it stuck. And so maybe they don't have anything together anymore, so they don't have to worry about, or she doesn't have to worry about how to do his portion or split anything with him. I don't know. It's such a big mess. So we know he's still married. He's still married to a lady that he married 38 years ago. No divorce. What else do we know about Ernest? So I wanted to say that I don't know where we are now in like real time, but I know as far as listening to those calls, what comes to mind when I hear him talking to all of these various people? What comes to mind is someone who is inside hiding, and they come to the door and they peek out every once in a while to see what's going on out there. So that's how I feel about a lot of times when he gets on these calls and asks people questions. Like, I feel like he doesn't want people to talk too much, so he doesn't want to say too much to them. He doesn't want them to say too much to him. I feel like he just wants to hear a little bit, like the minimum amount of what it is that they know, so he can know what they don't know yet, a little bit about what's going on as far as news wise and everything, and then that's it. He wants to just stick and move. He just wants a little bit of information. Don't talk too much, because he knows he's got lots and lots of skeletons in this closet with him, and he's opening that door, cracking that door, trying to make sure nothing gets in and nothing falls out. Can't get in because don't say too much. You know, people are listening. Don't incriminate me any more than I already am. I can't say too much. I can't let all these skeletons fall out. But tell me what's going on out there so I know where I stand. Where do I stand with you? You know, what do you know? What do you know? Not really what's going on with you. How are you doing? That's what he's saying. But what he means is, what do you know? What do you know? What's come out? And that's it's connected to how I think he felt about that guy showing up. The one that, I don't know anybody's name, so I apologize for this. But there was a man that showed up to visit him, and he was surprised. And I think the man's name was Daryl. And he was telling everybody else, like, can you believe? You'll never believe who came to visit me. Daryl. Yeah. And asking me, what do I need? And all this stuff, like, but he didn't talk about the relationship. And that's because whoever he was talking to already knows the relationship. I wonder if Daryl is one of these people's from, what did R. Kelly say? My way back past. I wonder if Daryl is somebody from the way back past, and he knows that that person has the ability to talk and tell people things that he doesn't want them to know. That's just a observation that I had and that I'm wondering about. I do have a feeling that we have not seen the last of this Daryl or heard from him. And I also have a feeling with so many people covering this situation, I do have a feeling that some people that are on the inside, either directly on the inside or on the fringes of the inside, I do have a feeling that some of those people are going to start talking more. We already see wives have come out of the woodwork since this has been going on. So I wonder how many more people with whatever pieces of the story they have are going to start coming out, talking to vloggers, talking to podcasts, you know, making their own channels. We don't know. Who knows? But this is a very interesting, developing situation. So many things I wonder. I wonder if this is affecting Shirley any more than it already has with her job. I wonder if this has gotten to the point of affecting their sponsorships, thereby potentially affecting their money on the Steve Harvey Morning Show. Yeah, there's lots of questions that I have, but we'll all just be waiting it out to see what has happened now that this situation has gone so very public. So let's see if there was anything else about this situation that I wanted to discuss. And so there was the Sonia stuff. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care about some broad. Nyla from Grown Woman Vibes found Sonia or Sonia, I don't know, but yeah, Nyla found Sonia and showed us who she is and what she looks like. And so I wonder how that's going for her now that she has been outed, from just her voice to also her picture, her business, everything. So lots of learning opportunities here. If not for you, definitely for somebody. Lots of learning opportunities here. And I would just say that the one biggest blaring thing that stands out to me is that you really have to watch what you're saying and watch what you're doing. And, you know, and if you don't want to be exposed for what you're doing, then don't do it. Do not do it. So much of this stuff, I'm sure that nobody ever thought they would be exposed, especially on this grand of a scale. So as far as Shirley is concerned, I mean, I don't really have any more words I don't have any words for Shirley, because her consequences and her repercussions are her teaching moment. So since she didn't learn that a woman of her caliber, I would say, in the arena that she's in, since she didn't know that she was supposed to do background checks and she was supposed to be doing credit checks, instead of him asking her about her credit, she was supposed to be asking him about his credit, his background. She was supposed to be judging him on that. If not for anything other than just for herself. Like, okay, I'm not judging you if you used to do whatever you used to do. That doesn't mean that I'm judging you as like a human being, but I'm certainly having to judge you on I'm going to have to judge you when it comes to a person for me to be in a relationship with. I have to judge you. I have to look at that, and I have to be very realistic with myself and tell myself, you know, can I even afford to chance being in relationship with somebody with this type of past, with this type of background? And it looks like, ladies, we're gonna have to start, and maybe even gentlemen, you know, I don't know, but since this was a man that did this, we're gonna say, ladies, it looks like we're gonna have to begin to look into people's marital background and make sure, as much as we can, make sure that they're not married somewhere. So at least in the states and cities where they told you that they lived. So you may not have, they might not tell you everything, especially at Shirley's age, getting married at her age and stage, right? But if you've been told, I used to live in Florida, I used to live in Texas, and I used to live in South Carolina, we might just have to do checks in those areas and see if that person has ever been married there and if they're divorced. I mean, at least do as much due diligence as you can now, especially now, given this information. So, of course, she was allowed to get married to him in her state. So she was good in that state, but wherever he's from, and he went to college and whatnot, that's where he married the first lady that he's still married to. So had she had somebody do some thorough background checking, and this is a woman who at that time, she could have afforded all this. She could have afforded to get a private investigator and have his background and run some checks like what we're talking about. She could have afforded that. So it sounds like, and it seems like, that type of stuff is just becoming more and more necessary. And it's a learning. This is a learning experience. Like, we can all take notes on something from this whole debacle, and we can all learn something. We can all glean something that will be beneficial to us, and not just look at how bad it is for her. No, let's look at how bad it is and also pick up and see what can I take away from this so that I can either help myself, I could help my children, I could help my girlfriends, I could help my co-worker, I could help somebody with this information. So that's where we are. That's where we are. This has really been something else. So yeah, as far as her situation, like I said, her consequences are all of everything that she needs to know. Things that could have been done, it looks like they weren't done. Listening to people, like, we got to learn, we can't just listen to people. You got to do some checking on your own. You cannot just ask people questions and listen to what they say. That's one thing that that has to be part of the lesson. You cannot afford to do that, because a liar gonna lie, a manipulator gonna manipulate, a con artist gonna con. That's just what that is. That's what's gonna happen. So it has to be what's that word, incumbent upon us to take whatever necessary precautions and act accordingly. So let me look like I don't have any eyebrows. Let me get in this store. I have arrived at my destination. I've gone into 25 minutes. And if you're here until the end, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am definitely getting with the doing more reviews. And I look at so many things, so it's just no telling what you might see reviewed on here. And if it gets a good response, then I'll review more of it and stick with the stories, a little bit more consistently. So thank you so much. Please subscribe to the channel, like the content, comment. Please don't be rude. If you do, then expect to go back and forth with me, because I'm not like Lil Duval. I'm going back and forth with you. So anyway, I'm just kidding, or I don't know, it depends on how I feel and how much time I have. Let's see, share and hit my Cash App if you're feeling generous, and I'll leave all that in the description. All right, thanks. Have a great one. Bye.